If you calculated how many hours you've wasted avoiding work, you'd need therapy. The good news is, this video is cheaper than therapy and just as effective. Right now, your brain is screaming for a TikTok hit while that important task is sitting there collecting dust. Don't worry, I'm Jeff, and I used to be worse than you. I mean, actually, not me the animation, but me, Jeff, the one who creates these videos for you. The reason why you're stuck isn't because your brain is broken, it's because it's been trained. Trained to crave easy dopamine from snacks, memes, and scrolling. Meanwhile, real work feels like something that doesn't give immediate results, and it's because your reward system's been hijacked. The scary part? This isn't about willpower, it's chemistry. Your brain literally treats productivity like punishment and procrastination like survival. But here's the good news. I cracked the code. And I'm going to show you how to reset your brain's reward system so hard work becomes actually addictive. No fluff, no just try harder nonsense. Just science that works whether you believe it or not. I promise you that in 15 minutes, you'll be craving productivity like you crave your morning coffee. Section 1. The dopamine deception. The first thing you need to understand is the chemical that's been completely screwing you over, dopamine. Forget everything you've heard about it being the pleasure chemical, that's complete BS. Dopamine doesn't make you happy, it makes you desire. And right now, your brain is desiring all the wrong things. But you can use it to your advantage, and it's not hard to do. Let me tell you about a really disturbing experiment that changed how I see everything. Years ago, scientists had a bunch of rats in a cage. These scientists put electrodes inside the brains of these rats, which gave the rats a dopamine hit every time they pressed a lever in the cage. Know what happened? Those rats stopped eating, stopped sleeping, stopped having rat sex. They just kept pressing the lever until they eventually died from exhaustion. Now, I want you to check your phone screen time report and tell me you're not doing the human version of the same damn thing. Here's what nobody tells you. Your brain has two settings. The first is, oh, potential reward. That's when dopamine spikes and you feel motivated. The second is, meh, not worth it. That's when there's no dopamine and you procrastinate. Right now, your brain thinks checking Instagram comments is more rewarding than building your future. Take a moment to really let that sink in. When the scientists switched it up and blocked the dopamine in those rats, something fascinating happened. The rats could still enjoy food when it was put in their mouths. They just couldn't be bothered to get it for themselves anymore. This proves that dopamine isn't about pleasure at all. It's about the chase. The scroll, the refresh, the maybe this time will be different feeling that keeps you glued to your screen. Your real problem isn't that work is hard. It's that your brain expects absolutely no reward from doing it. Why? Because you've flooded your system with artificial dopamine hits from TikTok, porn, and junk food. You've built up such tolerance that normal life feels boring. You've created a vicious cycle where only instant rewards work. This is why motivational speeches go in one ear and out the other for you. This is why just focus is the worst advice you've ever heard. Your brain chemistry is literally working against you. But you can fix this with what I call a fun and easy dopamine detox. For the next 24 hours, here's your mission. No screens, no junk food, no music, no porn or masturbation. Just walking, journaling, and yes, even staring at the walls like some kind of monk. It sounds extreme because it is. Within days though, your brain will start finding pleasure in ordinary things again. That essay you've been avoiding? Suddenly, not so painful. That workout that you've been meaning to do? It might actually feel good. Now I know what you're thinking, Jeff, that sounds impossible, which is exactly why I'm going to tell you how to make this actually doable if a full-on dopamine detox sounds too crazy. But first, you need to understand one incredibly important thing. Section 2. The dopamine trap. Now that we've exposed dopamine's dirty little secret, let's talk about why you need increasingly bigger hits just to feel normal. It's called tolerance. And yes, your brain works exactly like an alcoholic's liver. Remember your first coffee? One sip and you were vibrating. Now you need 3 shots just for the complete sentences. That's tolerance. Same thing happens with dopamine. When scientists gave the rats unlimited access to that dopamine lever, their brains started shutting down receptors just to cope. Your brain? Doing the exact same thing every time you doom scroll for hours on end. And here's what nobody tells you about tolerance. It works both ways. Just as you build tolerance to highs, you build tolerance to normal life. Things that should feel rewarding, like finishing a project, learning something new, even having real human connection, now register as meh to your completely fried reward system. I call this the zombie effect. You're not really living, you're just shuffling between dopamine hits, constantly chasing that next little buzz while your actual life just sits there completely unmoving. And the worst part, the more you feed it, the worse it gets. Like giving a toddler candy before breakfast and wondering why they won't eat vegetables. But here's the good news. Tolerance can be reversed. Start with what I call the single sacrifice. Pick one dopamine source, just one, and eliminate it every Wednesday. Not forever, not completely, just one day a week. If you choose social media, that means no Instagram, no TikTok, no endless scrolling every Wednesday. Your brain will throw a tantrum at first. It'll whisper that you're missing out. That one quick peek won't hurt. Whatever you do, don't listen. Within weeks, something magical happens. That book you've been meaning to read suddenly seems interesting. That project you've avoided starts feeling rewarding to work on, because your brain, deprived of its usual hits, starts rediscovering the small dopamine rewards of real accomplishment. And soon you will become the most successful person in your friend group, someone people look up to instead of look down on. This isn't about willpower. It's about biochemistry. When you stop flooding your system, even small wins start registering again. That report you've been avoiding, after a few clean Wednesdays, finishing a paragraph might actually give you a little tickle. Now, all of this is great in theory, but you need to be able to weaponize it if you want to make hard work addictive. First though, be honest with me. What's your single sacrifice gonna be? Comment down below before you forget. And do it now before your brain comes up with some excuse not to. Maybe give me a cheeky like and subscribe while you're down there as well if you haven't already. Section 3. Rewiring your rewards. Making hard work addictive is about making your brain crave productivity like it currently craves trash. And before you throw another tantrum, this isn't about becoming some dopamine monk who never has fun again. We're going to hack your reward system using what I call the earned indulgence method. Here's how it works. Your brain currently treats work like broccoli and scrolling like dessert. We need to flip that. Starting today, you're gonna establish one rule that you cannot argue with. No cheap dopamine until you've earned it with real work. For every 60 minutes of deep focus on something important, not fake productive busy work, but actual meaningful progress, you earn 15 minutes of guilt-free indulgence. Want to watch TikToks? Fine, after you've put in the work. Craving some gaming? Go for it. As a reward, not a distraction. This does 3 powerful things to your brain chemistry. First, it creates anticipation for your work sessions. Second, it trains your brain to associate effort with reward. And third, it prevents the dopamine crashes that leave you feeling drained. And it's 100% worth saying twice. The critical part of this is that the reward must come after the work, never before. And no, just one video to get started. That's like taking a shot of tequila before going to the gym when there's a party to go to after that. You're just stealing dopamine from your future productive self. I learned this the hard way when trying to write my thesis. At first, I'd reward myself with YouTube breaks whenever I felt stuck. Guess what happened? I never got unstuck. Then I flipped it. No videos until I'd written at least 500 words. Suddenly, my brain started treating writing like the gateway to fun rather than the obstacle. The magic happens because of something called dopamine bundling. Your brain starts associating the work itself with the upcoming reward. After a few weeks, you'll notice something weird. The anticipation of starting work will be what you're excited about. That's when you know the rewiring is working. Now, I can already hear your brain coming up with excuses. But Jeff, what if I don't feel motivated? Here's another dirty secret for you. Motivation comes after action, not before. And I have the perfect strategy to help you find that initial motivation and carry you forward. Section 4, the 5-minute lie. The truth bomb you've been avoiding up until now is that your brain is a pathological liar when it comes to hard work. It screams, "This will suck," before you even start. But here's what it won't tell you. That feeling is almost always a lie. Let me introduce you to the most powerful strategy I've found. Something that massively changed my life for the better. The 5-minute lie. It works because of something called the action before motivation paradox. You think you need motivation to start working? Guess again. Because the opposite is the truth. When facing a task you're dreading, tell yourself, just 5 minutes. If it sucks after 5 minutes, I can quit. What happens next is almost magical. Once you begin, 3 things occur. First, the initial resistance fades because the hardest part is starting, right? Second, you start to build momentum and the progress feels rewarding. And finally, you'll often continue well beyond 5 minutes. I used this to finally start exercising. My brain would come up with some elaborate excuses about why today wasn't the perfect day to work out. Then I made a deal. Just put on workout clothes and walk to the gym. If I still didn't want to exercise, I could leave. Guess what? In 3 years, I've never walked back home. This works because of a neurological event called the Zeigarnik effect. Your brain hates unfinished tasks. Once you start something, it creates subtle tension that drives you to continue. It's why video games use quest logs and TV shows end episodes on cliffhangers. But here's where most people fail. They don't actually honor the 5-minute promise at first. If you keep working when it feels terrible, you're reinforcing the lie that work equals punishment. Early on, if you genuinely feel awful after 5 minutes, stop whatever it is you're doing. This builds trust with your brain that you won't trap it in misery. The beautiful part, over time, you'll need this trick less and less. As your dopamine system changes as a result of the detox and reward restructuring, starting important things won't feel so scary. You'll begin craving the state of flow that comes after pushing through the initial resistance. Now, your brain is probably whispering, "This won't work for me." That's the resistance talking. The only way to prove it wrong is to try. Right now, pick one thing you've been avoiding and apply the 5-minute lie to it today. Not tomorrow. Today. Add it to the comment you made earlier before you can talk yourself out of it. Conclusion. Now let's be real, you'll never wake up excited to file taxes, do your chores, or anything like that. But after applying these hacks, the important work won't feel like torture anymore. And that's the win. Remember, your brain's been hijacked by cheap dopamine for far too long. Tolerance makes normal life feel boring, and it's time to flip the script. The right rewards make work addictive, so treat yourself right. And starting is the only hard part. Make it your mission to see starting less and less as an obstacle and more as an opportunity. You've now got everything you need to outsmart your own biology. The question is, will you actually use it? Or will you close this video and crawl back to your dopamine dealer? Be honest with yourself. How many more years will you waste being outworked by people with half your talent? If you're not ready to make hard work your new addiction, well, enjoy your scroll. I'll be over here killing it one day at a time.